So does the snow removal business suck? Yes, sometimes it does, but not all the time. There are some cool things about the snow removal business, and in this video I'm going to go over what those cool things are, no pun intended. So let's go ahead and get into it. But before we do, I just want to let you know where my perspective is coming from. I am a solo owner operator of a snow removal business. I'm a residential only, and I do not use a plow. So just for reference, that is who I am, and that is where my perspective comes from. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the pros of the snow removal business. So I'm going to start off with some of the more obvious pros, and then I'm going to finish off with my personal favorite pro of my snow removal business. So let's go ahead and get into pro number one, which is the great outdoors. So if you're anything like me, you like to be outside. You like to be getting fresh air, rain, snow, shine, doesn't matter. You like to be outside. I grew up outside. I was outside constantly, and that's just my preferred space. I definitely prefer it to indoors. So on top of the fresh air, I like the fact that you're not just stuck in one spot for the whole time that you're working. You're starting off in one neighborhood, you're going to the next, and you're moving throughout your city, and you're getting a change of scenery. Before I worked in the snow removal business, I did a bunch of minimum wage jobs, and I'd say my favorite minimum wage job that I did was pizza delivery, and I liked it for that very reason. I liked that you weren't just staying in the pizza shop, you were sort of going here and there and exploring the city and getting around, which to me, I just prefer that. I just like to I like to be moving around. I don't really like to be cooped up in one spot for too long. So pro number two is that this is a seasonal business, which I like because it is a change of pace. So for 6 months of the year, I'm cutting grass, which is cool, but towards the end of that 6 months, I'm getting kind of bored of it. I'm getting kind of tired of cutting grass, which is cool because it comes to an end, and then I move into snow removal business, which is a completely different job, it's a completely different business, and it just feels completely different, which I like. I like the change of pace. I don't really like the idea of doing the same thing day in and day out all year long. So if you're the same, maybe this is something to consider. So number three is that this is a low barrier to entry business, which means that it's very easy to get started. So if you want to be self-employed, if you want to be your own boss, this is a great business because you do not need any special skills, you do not need any special training, you do not need a license, and you do not need a lot of money to get started. So if that's you, maybe this is something to think about. So pro number four for this business is that it is easy to sell this service. There are a ton of people out there that want this service because they hate shoveling snow, and there are a ton of people out there that need this service because they're unable to shovel their own snow, which means the demand for snow removal is very high, which means you do not need to be a master salesperson to go out there and sell snow removal service. I started my snow removal service with zero training whatsoever. I'd never done any sort of selling job in the past, and I was able to go out there and pick up market share no problem, even being fumbly and stumbly and not knowing what I was doing, because there are just so many people out there that want or need snow removal. So pro number four is that you do not need to be a master salesperson. So that leads into pro number five, which is repeat business. So once you've sold that customer then becomes a client, which means they keep coming back to you time and time again, even though you've only sold them once. So once you sell to them one time, they can become a customer for the rest of your life. So that leads into pro number six, which is upsells. So now that you have your client base laid down, you can easily go in and sell to those customers additional services. For example, I sell my customers on a spring cleanup, on lawn mowing and fall cleanup, and snow removal, and I keep those customers all year round, and I'm able to do that because I can easily go to them and sell my services because they already know me, they already trust me, and we already have a relationship established. And on top of that, now I don't have to pay to go out there and acquire new customers constantly and constantly have to go out there and sell to complete strangers. So it is great. I'm able to sell bush trimming and weed cleanups and all that kind of stuff as well. So great business for that reason. So number seven, my absolute favorite pro to the snow removal business, and that is free time. So where I live anyways, it doesn't snow every day. There are plenty of weeks when it doesn't snow at all, or maybe only 1 or 2 days. If I work 5 or 6 days in a week, that's like a busy week for me. On top of that, a lot of days that I go out where it's only so much inches of snow, I only work 4 to 5 hours usually. If we do get a significant snowfall, like maybe a foot of snow, then I am working, 8 to 12 hours. But those are sort of far and far, few between, and even still, I'm not working a 40-hour week usually. So that's my favorite thing about the snow removal business is I get a lot of free time that I use to read or catch up with friends or video games or movies or whatever. A lot of time to relax. I use that time to work on the inside of my business, work on the website, the system, stuff like that. And I use that time to go out and do little side hustles and start side businesses and stuff like that. So by far my favorite thing about the snow removal business is the free time. Now keep in mind, I do understand that this is specific to where I live, and this is also specific to my business. I do residential snow removal. I do not do big commercial contracts or plowing or salting or anything like that. So if that is what you do, then maybe this does not apply. But for me and my business and the way I run things and where I live, I get quite a bit of free time in the winter, and that is my favorite thing about the snow removal business. Alright, so that's the end of the video. If you're thinking of starting a snow removal business, I hope this helped. I hope this gave you some insight. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But yeah, thank you very much for watching the video, and peace.